Welcome to LC Screen Talk. My name is Larry, and this is my review of The Justice League. So tonight I attended a fan screening for The Justice League, and since I went in costume, I received this nifty hat here. And then I donated to a charity here, and they handed out these awesome little Justice League pins for donating. It has a pretty cool inscription there on the back as well. And of course, got a pretty sick little poster here. But that is all fine and dandy. The real question is, how was the actual film? When it comes to the DCEU, I have this real complicated relationship. For me, Man of Steel, meh. Batman v Superman, huge disappointment. Suicide Squad, small disappointment. And then Wonder Woman blew my mind. I loved it so much and lived up to expectation. And I have to say, I haven't loved the trailers quite as much as everybody else seems to. I thought they started fine and started pretty solid and have slowly gone down, actually. And thus, my expectations have definitely been tempered as I went into tonight's screening. But I have to say, I had a really good time, and overall, the movie is pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and talk some Justice League. First of all, our 5 main Justice League members here really get to shine, and I thought they all were just fantastic. Ben Affleck did really well as our Batman, and I loved the Batman sequences. There's a moment he has at the beginning that makes me really yearn for another Batman film. It was just so good. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, flawless as she was in her solo film, and I think the character of Wonder Woman was really well written. And I do have a small gripe when it comes to her depiction, as well as the Amazon's depiction, a little bit later in this review, but I thought she did a very good job. Her action sequences were wonderful. It was wonderful every time Wonder Woman was on the screen. I loved The Flash. I thought Ezra Miller was wonderful in the role. I'm glad that he was like our main comedic relief on the team, and he embraced it. I thought he was adorable, and I loved everything about The Flash here. And then we had Jason Momoa as Aquaman, equal parts like sexy, rugged, badass, and funny, awesome powerfulness. So he was a great addition. He really redeemed the character and coolness factor like we knew he would, and it just worked. And then we had Cyborg, Ray Fisher. I also thought that character was really cool. I'm one of those people who's like, out of all of the Justice League characters we could have chosen, it's interesting we decided to go with Cyborg. But once he's on the team, I'm not really mad at it. I thought the character was really interesting, really intriguing, and I would have liked to see even more from his character. I would love a standalone Cyborg movie, actually, after seeing Justice League, and Ray Fisher was really good. As for our periphery characters, and that other Justice League member I haven't mentioned yet, they were all good. We didn't get a lot of Lois Lane, which actually is a positive for me because I can't really handle the Lois Lane we're getting in the DCEU, and I think Amy Adams is a great actress, but I haven't liked how she's portrayed the role. She was fine here. She was used very sparingly, and how she was used was to good effect, so that's definitely a positive. Diane Lane was really good in the scenes she was in, and then everybody else really has small, really, really minor roles. Jeremy Irons is probably the best out of all of our side minor characters, and he kills it. Another positive, there is a lot of humor, and it lands probably about 90 to 95% of the time. I think the jokes kill it in this movie. They really are on point. It's really fun. They nail all of the lightheartedness that they aim for, and it makes it for such a more enjoyable watching experience than something like Batman v Superman, which just kind of is an ongoing slog the entire time. This one keeps that action, keeps the energy, it keeps the dark color palette that Zack Snyder loves, but it throws in enough movement and enough lightheartedness that it really was a really fun movie. Speaking of the action, it was all shot very well. I thought the action was really cool. I thought everything looked really cool. It was in nice focus. And every now and then it got a little bit like too dark, or we'll get to CGI. But it was overall shot really, really well. As for the directing, I think it was fine. I think it is very Zack Snyder-esque. And I have the same kind of gripes that I always have with Zack Snyder films, but it didn't detract for me overall. I think it is still a little bit too dark. I think it is still a little bit too orange. I still think he struggles with female characters overall, but overall, for Zack Snyder direction, I think it's fine. For the script, I think the script is actually really solid. There is a through line, there is a story this time to tell, and I think it is told in a very methodical, straightforward way. So, thank you for that. And the editing is actually good. I felt that the editing has been a huge problem in the DCEU. The trailers have always been edited to perfection, and then we get into the film, and the editing is just really weird and not done very well. It's done well here, so yay for improvement. So I'm going to talk Danny Elfman and the score to lead us into negatives, but I think he straddles between positive and negative. So he brings in all of our beloved themes. He brings in his own beloved Batman theme. He brings in the beloved Superman theme from John Williams, as well as the recently beloved Wonder Woman theme introduced by Hans Zimmer in Batman v Superman. And I thought they all were brought in really, really creatively and wonderfully. They were used very sparingly, and they had like a new kind of instrumentation that brought some pizzazz, but it was really nice and nostalgic to hear all of the themes. However, Danny Elfman has done a Batman film before, and he also does have a very specific style, and it made this feel very retro. I don't know that his score was necessarily a great fit. I don't think the music was bad. It definitely felt like the next step from the Batman films that he scored, rather than a cohesive unit to the other films in the DCEU. But from there, the other negatives kind of are cohesive to the rest of the DCEU. First of all, I don't think the CGI was all that strong. And in a lot of moments, it just downright looked bad. And in particular, we had some green screen moments with Aquaman and with Superman that they were standing there, and it was very obviously and clearly a green screen behind them. I also think that we still overindulge on the slow-mo. It works really well when you're dealing with characters like Superman and the Flash and Wonder Woman, because these characters can do crazy things, so slowing it all down really helps to comprehend and see and understand what's happening. But then you would just get slow-mo of like a bullet falling and thumping off the ground. I was like, oh, we didn't need that, and that happens a few too many times, but again, that's Zack Snyder's directing style, and that's what you get. And again, that color palette went from dark at the beginning, and it was good throughout the entire middle portion of the film, and then it got that super orangey tint, and then it opened up again to nice. So it went in and out on the color palette of the visual. When it's in that orangey setting, the CGI doesn't look very good. When it's in the dark setting, it looked okay, because darkness kind of hides bad CGI. And I think some of the water sequences didn't look great, or some of the mass people sequences in the battles didn't look great. And then we had Steppenwolf, who went in and out of looking okay. He does look very, very similar to Ares, and he has a lot of the same problems that Ares has, and that Wonder Woman had in its big orange climax. He's also a pretty generic, powerful baddie. So he's not really a huge negative for me. I don't really mind kind of like big, powerful baddies all that much. But that's what he is. He doesn't get much development. He's not really a character in and of himself. He's just this powerful being that's there. And of course there are some plot holes and some undefined powers and a lot of jumping in powers and abilities for our superheroes. But again, very minor nitpicky negatives, because every single superhero film has plot holes. Let's just be honest. So about those female characters and Zack Snyder's issues with directing and creating good female characters. Overall, I think Wonder Woman's characterization is really good. I think we do dabble a little bit in that like weird, dark, emo territory that we took Superman in with her in this film, but they needed to explain why no one knows who the heck Wonder Woman is in the world. My real problem comes with the fact that she needed saving no less than 3 times. I'm gonna give it a little bit of credit because part of this is that she is constantly like the main person in that fight. She is always in there, and she is taking on Steppenwolf herself. While all the rest of them are kind of taking on these minor threats, she is constantly the most powerful person in the room, so she has to be the one who goes down and fights Steppenwolf. But then she'll get knocked down and one of the small things is coming down, and somebody else will come in and save her. And I think like the Flash needs saving maybe twice, but really none of the other heroes have these explicit saving moments over and over, and she has several throughout the film, and it's kind of just like, really? I think it is subconscious. I don't think he means to do it, but it's like, the one female person on the team, when Superman isn't around, she's the most powerful one. She shouldn't need all this saving. And then we get to the Amazons. This controversy has already made its way across the net. And I'm gonna tell you, they show the Amazons fighting in present day, and that is midriff showing armor that is happening there. So I've seen the arguments that their costumes have evolved and it's just flashbacks and that that's what they fought in Wonder Woman. No, none of those are valid. It is present day fighting that the Amazons in battle have like a bikini top and a small skirt with nothing like really guarding down here. Thankfully, Hippolyta and a few of the other main Amazons they show have like proper armor on, but it's just not practical. Like, come on. They aren't immortal. They can die. They clearly knew that they were like set up for battle. It was established that they were prepared to fight at any time, and yet they come in a bikini top? I don't know. And the complaint is not about characters being sexy or showing skin. It's about the appropriateness and the time of it. Because trust me, Zack Snyder is not opposed to kind of exploiting male skin either. And he's not opposed to it in this film. The complaint is context. It's one thing for Aquaman to rip off his shirt when he's going into the water with no danger present. And it's a whole nother thing for Amazons to go into battle ready to fight in a skimpy little outfit that doesn't really have protection. But my last negative, I can't go too deep into detail because it goes into major spoiler territory, but I'm just gonna say I enjoyed the film far more when Superman was not in the fold. And I don't think that's too big of a spoiler because, I mean, the trailers kind of gave it away, and let's just be real, we already knew what was coming. We've seen the press tours. But once Superman is introduced, I'm gonna be honest, that's where a lot of my problems did come into play. But we're not gonna go into that any further. I'm just gonna leave it there. But overall, I had a lot of fun with the Justice League. I think this is the second best entry in the DCEU behind Wonder Woman. It is exactly what you would hope for and you were wanting from this superpower team assembling and coming together. So make sure that you stay through all of the credits. There's like a mid-ending credit sequence and then there's one at the very end. So make sure you stay all the way through. And I say give this a full price ticket. It's deserving. It is a lot of fun. It is a good time. If you're a Justice League fan, if you're a DC fan, you're gonna love this movie, I think. So that is my review of Justice League. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead, click like down below and subscribe to the channel so you are always up to date on our latest videos. Also, join in on the discussion. Are you excited to see Justice League? If you've already seen it, what are your thoughts? And what is your favorite DCEU film thus far? Let me know either in the comment section down below, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I love you all so much for your support. Mwah. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!